this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back with this new video. If you'll remember, early this year, I think on January 2nd, I did a 2018 elemental energy reading that's related to my year ahead reading. Parts of which I've been giving you glimpses of each month for the past couple of months, but now it's time to look back at the year as a whole, the energy of the whole entire year, and pull my cards for 2019. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Now, as a quick refresher, you'll know that for my yearly energy readings, I pull a card for each of the 4 Western elements: air, fire, water, and earth. One each from 4 different decks. So my air deck is the, let me turn that up, the Thoth Tarot deck. My fire deck is the Deviant Moon Tarot. Here. My earth deck, my water deck. I'm going to show you the book because you don't need to see an entire box. This is the Llewellyn Tarot deck, and which is related to Welsh mythology. And then for earth, another book here, the Fairies Oracle. So, these are the 4 cards I pulled for my 2018 energy reading, and as you can see, I've got 3 major arcana cards, and the Fairies Oracle is, like I said, an oracle deck, so it doesn't have the same structure as tarot. However, himself is a pretty big fairy in this deck. And again, a quick refresher, my thoughts, you can find my 2018 energy reading video in the link or the description below. The Tower is actually mostly seen as a pretty negative card, probably the most negative card in the deck, though negative is relative. For me, air represents the mental space, thoughts, your brain, communication, that kind of thing, and I assume this was kind of a huge sweeping change of thought processes and mental health, and it was. I honestly, the year is not up yet, like we have a week left, and I feel like, sorry about that, I feel like a different person mentally, and that is a good thing. This is a fiery card. As you can see, things are falling off. There's a building on fire and it's falling apart. I don't normally do this, particularly for the Tower. To me, it's pretty obvious, but I just wanted to check the book real quick, the little white book, to see what else it might have to say. But yeah, that, like, before this year, my mental health, my mental space was not so great, but getting better. So, God, I was sniffling in the last video too, I don't know. It is destruction of the old, basically kicking out, as you can see, those old ideas and beliefs I think it's just because it's winter and also really dry, so hence the sniffling. But that's what I was doing. And this wasn't a shocking sudden change, which is what usually applies for the tower. It's just like total destruction suddenly, like as if if I take my hand right now and just like completely sweep everything off the table onto the floor, that kind of thing. This was my year, so it kind of played out over the 12 months. Not bad. Then we have for fire, which to me, oh my god, why? Fire represents spirituality, creativity, and creation, and passion, love to an extent, and this is the world. And basically this mermaid is going from one place to another, and her life has changed. It's come all the way around, and there's a new beginning now, and this is sort of the end of a cycle, and I feel it. Like 2019 feels like a new beginning. Honestly, now feels like a new beginning. I'm a different person than I was whenever this cycle started. I'm not 100% sure, to be perfectly honest with you, but I would say maybe 10 years ago-ish. Maybe 8 to 10 years. This cycle for me has been, and I'm a new me, ready to start new things, and wondering why I'm so popular right at the moment. So yeah, this is my fire card. I think about creativity in a different way, and honestly, I feel more mystical and magical and creative than I did before. So yeah, I've conquered some beings and some personal demons along the way as well. Next, my water card is a very watery card. The Moon from the Llewellyn Tarot deck. And as I said, this deck is based on Welsh mythology. So this card represents the Lake of Maidens, which is a reference to the story of Blodeuwedd, who is the owl, and her maidens are the fish, and they were defeated in a way and changed into these animals, and this is how they live their lives now. I told you then I didn't really see this as a negative card per se. I see this as having a deeper connection, a more wild and rough, maybe truer connection with the moon, with the unknown, with being a witch and being me, a deeper connection with my shadow self and my spirit guides, one of which is an owl, and being more outwardly true to my connection with the night and the moon, I guess you could say. For me, water represents the emotions, the unknown, spirituality, as well in a different way. And whoops, I almost fell, sorry. The moon, of course. So that is was my water card for 2018. And then himself is my earth card. Himself is staring again deep into the eyes. The chakra points with the heart, the third eye, and the crown, and I guess working on those, knowing myself, becoming stable in those aspects. Earth representing, finances, but also your physical self, your physical space. And he's going deep here and telling you that you have power and you can be okay. If particularly, I felt like if I worked in those three areas, the heart, self-love, self-care, definitely ramp that up even more this year. The third eye, intuition, knowing, seeing, again, ramping that up with working with tarot, working with others, using my intuition more, the crown, having a deeper connection with a higher power, with spirit, with my spirituality and religion, magic even, and the universe, and all of that has been done, and he's got a bit of wildness to him. And again, he is just like no holds barred, not letting you escape his gaze until, we work on those things. So that was my 2018. Now I'm going to shuffle and pull out cards for 2019. Let's go. Okay, so these are my cards for 2019 for air, fire, water, and earth, using the same decks. I use the same decks every year. So the card I got for the element of air, for the mental area of life, is the Aeon from the Thoth Tarot. Oh boy, I'm not 100% knowledgeable about this card, but it almost looks like an out-of-body experience, a colorful one, a just kind of duality and the levels of life. You'll see the figure on the throne in the background looks kind of grown, adultish, but then there's this outline over them that looks like a child, and then these little pictures on the bottom showing different phases of life and kind of these sacks of that remind me of oh my god, when baby is in the mother's stomach still. I cannot for the life of me remember the actual word. Yeah, there's this kind of like an altar or throne type of situation as well. Cycle of life or various stages of life. So we'll see how this works out in 2019. For fire, I got the Emperor. And this is not the nicest emperor, but honestly, who is the nicest emperor? World leaders, empire leaders, nation leaders, everybody's not gonna like everything that they do all the time. So there's that. The emperor usually represents kind of owning your shit in a way. Someone who knows what they're doing, who has experience. Okay, someone who has leadership skills, who has worked their way through life, worked their way up, willing to make sacrifices for the greater good or for the betterment of certain goals. And I liked seeing the crescent moons on his staff and cloak there, so some connection with the moon, with starting something new is there, and fire energy. That would be my creativity, my spirituality, and this is very masculine energy as well. So it's less about intuition and more about logic, facts, and hard work. So there's that. For my water card, I got the Five of Wands, and I admit to be a tinge disappointed because I was hoping for like all these major cards again for 2019, but that's okay. This is the water card. Water, again, representing the unknown, emotions, the deep, dark self, changing tides. The Five of Wands shows it could be these five guys fighting or attempting to put together a project, but not all working together is essentially the theme here. All these guys with their wands, and everybody's looking in a different direction and not pointing them in the same direction or in any sort of form that will give us a hint of what they're attempting to do with these wands. So the plans have been thrown on the ground. We'll see if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it seems like kind of fighting with myself and the various parts and having some confusion and not knowing where I'm going with stuff emotionally. Then lastly, we have the Earth card, which is the guardian at the gate from the Fairies Oracle. This card is one of the singers of the realm. It's they represent in the Fairies Oracle energy rather than energy without form, rather than other cards like I showed you himself earlier, which is kind of like more specific and human looking. Even if not human looking, most of the fairies in the deck are beings of form, where this is more of a being of energy. So anyway, this card at first glance kind of looks like the maypole, or like the top part of the maypole, or maybe not the maypole itself, but like, okay, so here we have what is normally like a wreath put around the top of the maypole, and the strings that everyone ties around the pole dangling down. That's what it looks like to me. And with this form, without the pole in the middle, it also kind of does look like a gateway. You walk through this to something more, to something different, to something new. Sense of passage, of going through something, changing. This card to me is similar to the World card that I had for my 2018 fire reading. And so this being in Earth, it's representative of my energy in 2019, and physically and financially, and as far as stability goes, and that's good. It will probably be difficult and dark, but I know things need to change here, and they didn't change so much in last year as they probably needed to. So I think this is that time. So this is my 2019 elemental energy reading, and if you would like one, you can get one. Link in the description down below to my Etsy shop and that reading. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.